Hey everybody, good day. I hope you are having an awesome day. And new moon. I was going to say full moon, but new moon in Taurus? No. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's Scorpio? I can't remember. Anyways, it's a new moon. Apparently, it's the start of much energy over the next, I think, 10 days because there's the new moon, there's a solar eclipse, and there's this other thing. I forget what it's called. Anyways, if you want to hear more about that, I have an amazing friend, Kim, who does moon circles. And I actually have a couple friends who do moon circles ceremonies. So reach out. I'm happy to put you in touch with them. But today we are here for another episode of Wheel of Wisdom with Allison and Emmy. Just waiting for the amazing Allison to hop online. I had told her I was going to be a couple minutes late. So what I'm going to do while we're waiting for her is I'm going to actually turn the wheel around, or turn the camera around, and you can see we call it the Wheel of Wisdom because this wheel chooses what we're going to talk about. And the topics that we could be talking about are the topics that Allison and I specialize in. So love, joy, gratitude are my 3 pillars in life and business, and intuition, moving through fear, and authenticity are the things that Allison talks about in her business. So we absolutely both can jam on all of those topics, and we let the wheel have the wisdom and decide. So today, no surprise to me, we are going to be talking about moving through fear. So I'll get started, and I trust that she will be on exactly when she should. So let me just give me 1 second here to, I gotta plug into, and I'm hoping that it's not going to, my phone is not going to die while we're on our live, but I trust that whatever's supposed to happen will happen. And I'm so happy to have you here in this topic of moving through fear. So Allison is definitely the expert on this, but sorry guys. There we go. But I have been working with Allison as my mentor for the past, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 3 months, 2-3 months, I'm not sure. And we've worked a lot. Well, we haven't worked a lot on it, but between that and the conversations that we've had here with WoW, we have been able to talk about this topic, and I definitely feel more comfortable talking about it now too. So moving through fear is so much better than, the general thing of like, just get over your fears. That's the general consensus. Wouldn't you agree that everybody says, oh, just get over your fears? Or, how do you get over your fears? We all want to get over our fears. Newsflash, we're not getting over our fears. Fears are a normal and inevitable part of life. We'll always have fears because our brain's job is to keep us in homeostasis, because its job is to keep us safe. So it thinks as long as we're in homeostasis, we are safe. If we are comfortable and doing exactly what we've always done, that's safe, so that's where we're supposed to stay. But in reality, we're really supposed to grow and learn and expand, but our brain doesn't have that same role. Its job is to protect us. So it absolutely does that. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Nice to see you, Margie. And this is actually a perfect topic, I would imagine, for you. And hey, Lindsay, how you doing? How you doing? So this moving through fear, we're always going to have fears. It is what our brain does to protect us. It incites this fear. However, it's just most times it is an illusion. Now, there are times, of course, when we're actually in danger, like, when people talk about the saber-toothed tiger. Of course, we don't have those just prancing around. But there are real dangers. Sometimes you are going to be in a car accident. Sometimes you are going to be, maybe you're in an physically abusive or emotionally abusive situation. There are times when you are actually in danger. And in those times, amazing that our brain will react quickly to keep us safe. But many times the fears are our brain's imaginings of what might happen. And in those situations, this is what we want to talk about today. What we can do is we can recognize the fear, name the fear and the feeling that is going along with the fear. And just even that part, the naming it, there's an activity that we're doing in the Intensati classes this month called Name It To Tame It. And a psychologist, I wish I could remember his name. I'll try to remember to put it in the comments so that we can credit him. But he came up with this Name It To Tame It thing. And not thing, technique. And basically you breathe in for 5. So let's all just try this, because maybe you have some fear going on right now for you. Or if not, I want you to kind of bring to mind a fear that is common for you or that was recent for you. Okay, so first you breathe in for a count of 4 or 5. And breathe out through your mouth for a count of 4 or 5. Just like let it release. You don't want to have to forcefully breathe it. So in for 4 or 5. Out through your mouth, easy. For 4 or 5. Keep doing that. Breathing speed, breathing technique. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Easy, out through your mouth. Slow and metered. 4 or 5 in, 4 or 5 out. And as you do that, you might want to put your hand on your heart, your hands on your heart. You might want to close your eyes. This could be helpful. And just start to think about, how do I feel? And specifically for this, we want to talk about that fearful situation. So how do I feel? I feel afraid. Okay. But even we might be able to go deeper. Is it just I feel afraid? Or is it that I am nervous that I'm going to fail, for example? Is it that I am anxious about meeting someone? So here's Miss Allison. She's going to come on, and I know she'll bear with me. So just let's let her come on, request that she comes on. But as we're feeling into that feeling, we want to feel the feeling, name it, and keep doing that breathing. In for 4 or 5, out through the mouth, easy for 4 or 5. And you'll notice as you do that a few times that your body starts to self-regulate and that you're not feeling the fear as intensely as you were before. Literally naming it to tame it as you breathe through it is an amazing technique to move through fear. And while you're doing it, you can also think of the situation like, why is it that I'm feeling this fear? You know, is it because, I don't know, I have a big presentation? Is it because I'm afraid my boyfriend's going to break up with me? Is it whatever the fear, acknowledge it, because pretending it's not there is definitely not going to move you through it. Okay. Nope. Have to acknowledge it and then move through it. So keep doing that if you're in the middle of that exercise. And we are going to give you just a minute, well, not even a minute, but maybe 30 seconds or so to keep going through that. And when you feel like, okay, I do feel my body starting to self-regulate, I feel myself calmer, then you can open your eyes, return to your normal breathing, and welcome Allison, who has joined us. So hello, Allison.
Hello.
As you can tell, the wheel picked moving through fears. It was just guiding people through an activity that I learned through the Intensati practice this month. So, naming it to tame it. So.
Nice.
Well, that's where we are with moving through fear. Any thoughts, ideas that come from that place for you?
Yeah, I mean, if we can learn to look at fear less as the alchemical reaction that it creates, which can be all consuming, and more just as an indicating mechanism. So, which is difficult because we're alchemical beings. We're a creative chemical composite, right? That's constantly changing. But that visceral feeling can be separated from. And when you can separate enough from it to recognize it is not, something that is, of course, we're not talking about the actual physical danger, but the mental
Exactly.
creative process.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And witness it as an indicating mechanism of what your active belief is in that moment. It's massively beneficial because fear and doubt and anxiety and all of those constricted feelings tend to want to feel as if they're impossible to navigate. They can feel all consuming. They can feel like you have no control. But the irony is you're the one creating it. So you ultimately, fundamentally have 100% control. I mean, my kids used to make their face go numb with anxiety just thinking about a topic. Like, I'm like, dude, if you can create that, think about the other stuff you can create. Like, you're making your whole body go numb with a thought. Give me a break. Like, you're phenomenal as a creator. So we had to start to look at what am I creating by flowing energy through particular thoughts and particular beliefs. But what I have learned is if you can begin to use your intellect and your sort of point of view to separate a little bit in the midst of it and just witness, oh, look, I'm freaking out because I guess I got a belief system and limitation about this topic. Okay. All right. Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know, and there are methodologies to work around, you and I've talked about, you don't have to get rid of it. You just have to focus in another direction, or you can try to manipulate it if you want to, but where you focus gets bigger. So I don't know.
So true. And I do find that sometimes for me and other people I've spoken to, that doing that intellectualizing and being able to separate them, sometimes when you're in the muck of it is very challenging. So that's when like that whole kind of name it to tame it breathing thing, because literally your brain has gone into the sympathetic nervous system instead of the parasympathetic nervous system, and stress, which that is, fear is a stressor, it shuts parts of our brain down, and we literally become stupider. Like it's not you become stupid, that's what happens to humans. So when you're in that stupider sentence where you literally don't have access to all the function of your brain, it can be very challenging to intellectualize and separate. So that's when first doing something like, and it's not certainly not the only technique, but something like the naming it to tame it, so that you could start to put your body back into the parasympathetic nervous system, or the rest and relax, brain. Then all of a sudden the brain function comes back fully online, and it's like, oh, okay, now I can have that awareness. And that in itself, like, I'm sure can help with, like, if you are having a physical thing like numbness, or some people throw up when they're anxious and they just think they're really literally physically sick, but they're not physically sick. They're having a physical manifestation of something that's going on in their brain. But like they're not ill to go to the doctor as in like, I have a virus. It's not that.
It's taken me 7 years to be able to be in the midst of a fear-based thought and to be like, whoa, wait a second. Nope. So it's like you said, there've got to be techniques to deal with the first stage, which is getting away from or calming the sensation just to begin with. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And I think that it's so phenomenal to get to see it as that, as an indicator, as like a road sign, hey, what is this telling me? Because then we can get to the point eventually. And again, for some of you, this might seem like, I don't know if I could ever get there. It's okay to feel like this, but like you can get to the point where you're grateful for that fear. Like, I'm so glad I had it, because it alerted me that I was believing or thinking this, and that's not where I want to be. So if it's not where I want to be, like if you ended up somewhere that you didn't want to be physically, you're on a street you didn't want to be, what would you do? You just turn around and go the other way. You wouldn't stay on the street and go, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Like none of us have the ruby slippers to just click 3 times and magically poof to another, like in our minds, but physically, not in this realm. So what would we do? We'd turn around and we'd go somewhere. We can do the same thing like Allison was just saying. Focus on where we want to be, and what you focus on grows. But until you, like when you're in the panic situation, you can't even think. It's like literally if you're drowning, you don't think if I just start, because people can drown in 2 inches of water.
Yeah.
It's not about the fact that they physically need to drown. It's that their brain is start to shut down and they can't think, oh my gosh, if I just put my feet on the thing, I could stand up and I'll be fine. So it's the same thing. When we're in the midst of like the reaction, the chemical reaction, we may or may not be able to have that yet. So work with all those kind of things,
well,
it's step.
Yeah. The good news is someone watches this and goes, I can never do that. Well, of course you can. But the good news is, guess what? Life is going to continue to bring you opportunities to look at the contrast in different ways where you used to be completely poked by the bear or poke the bear, I guess it's the right saying. You can, because you've got infinite opportunities between now and you transition. It's going to come up again. I hate to tell you. It's going to be there. So why not play with it? Why not start to have a different POV? Why not, start to look at your time on this earth a little bit differently. Instead of, I only have 50 years left. Oh, I have another 50 years. Like, oh my God. See what I did in the first 50? Holy crap. Oh my God. What am I going to do in the next 50? Like, plenty of time.
Amazing. I love it. I feel that's a great completion point. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm good.
I do want to let you both, everybody watching the replay or live, know that changes are coming. I was mentioning a few weeks ago, I think, I don't know, that I'm moving more to YouTube. And if you've been seeing my things, you see I'm posting daily on YouTube now. Allison was like, oh, funny enough, I'm also feeling like I'm being pulled more to YouTube or called more to YouTube. Yeah. So look for us shifting over to YouTube. We will give you some notice. We'll give you some notifications. So, keep an eye out. But maybe, you never know, could be as early as next week. We might just be on YouTube instead of IG Live. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out, people.
That's right. So go over to YouTube and subscribe. Your channel is called?
Trinity Transformations.
Trinity Transformations. Hit the subscribe, and then you'll get notified. Mine is Allison Sutter. I can't remember if there's a 3 on the end of it or not, but it's like Allison Sutter. It's subscribe.
I'm going to look right now and tell you if it's Allison Sutter 3 or
Yeah,
not.
I've been thinking about my intro video and doing a bit of a more curated intro video on that channel. So, and I'm beginning to feel like I'm having a bit of an upswing in creativity. So it'll probably be inspired action taken soon.
Amazing. It is simply Allison Sutter. When you go to YouTube and you search in Allison Sutter, you will find that she is there. And I'm going to make sure that if you search as Trinity Transformations, you find me too, because I usually just send people the link, but let's make sure it works.
Yeah,
it does. You'll see something that is Trinity Transformation singular, not me. Trinity Transformations plural, me and my picture. So you'll know it's me.
It's me.
So, subscribe to both, turn on the notifications, and then you'll get notified when we are live there too.
Absolutely. Well done.
Have an awesome day. Love you all. Bye.